Big dogs.
All right. All right. For Judging Judy. All right.
Hello and welcome to Judging Judy, the podcast that puts Judy Shineland on trial. I'm Dan G. This is how it works. Each week, we'll take a look at an episode from Judge Judy's long and extensive body of work. I'm talking 25 years, actually a little bit more than that. We'll look at the cases, yeah, but we'll also look at Judy herself. Did she give the petitioners to her court a fair shake, or is she guilty of being a bad judge? Before I jump into things, you might be wondering, why Judge Judy? Is something wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why won't you tell us what's wrong with you? Look, yeah, of course, there's something wrong with me, and I imagine that over the course of this podcast, we'll have plenty of time to explore my hang-ups and their various sources. But when it comes to the why for this podcast, for Judge Judy, our judge du jour, the fact is that for over 25 years, Judy was more than an extremely well-paid real judge deciding cases in a fake courtroom. She was a cultural icon, like Cher, but wearing a very starched robe. Wait, did Cher ever play a judge? She must have. I'll follow up on that. Anyway, Judy, she had her top-rated show. She had books. She got a Guinness Book World Record, which you usually have to eat a lot of cockroaches to get. She even won an Emmy, which you usually have to eat a lot of cockroaches to get. Sure, there were TV judges before Judy. There have been TV judges since. I'm pretty sure Fox News is working on something called Your Dishonor with judges Dean Cain and Paula Deen. But no other judge captured the zeitgeist like Judy. No other judge captured our hearts like Judy. But at the same time, Judy can kind of be a jerk. I get it. It was a TV personality. I also get that it was a fake TV show. I get that it's not a real court. But whether it was for TV or not, she was kind of mean to people. She did a lot of yelling and scowling, and she's got this way of rolling her eyes that makes me think she was a real bitchy teenager. That's why we're not just reviewing the cases that the judge heard in her court. We're judging Judy, too. All right, let's hop into things. Today's episode is from, I believe, August 24th, 2021, which means we get to check in with Professor Wikipedia. Let's see, on August 24th, 2021, at least 12 miners are dead during an explosion of methane gas and coal dust in the La Carbonera mine in the municipality of Topaga, Colombia. Okay. An apartment collapses in Turin, Italy during a suspected gas leak, killing a child and wounding 3 more people. All right, gas problems, methane, and 13 people dead. Got it. But surely it's not all bad news. Let me just scroll down here. A senior member of the Yakuza, Satoru Nomura, is sentenced to death by a court in Fukuoka, Japan, for ordering 4 assaults, one of which was deadly. Nomura has denied participating in the crimes. It is the first time that a senior member of the crime group has been sentenced to death. Well, look, he was a bad guy, but I still don't think states should be in the business of killing people, even people with extensive tattoos. Let's keep scrolling on this Wikipedia page. Okay, Andrew Cuomo's resignation as governor of New York comes into effect. Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul is sworn in, making her the first woman to serve as governor of New York. Hey, that's half good news. I think we would all preferred if Cuomo had gone the way of Kmart, so we'd never have to even hear of him again. Instead, he's kind of more Bed Bath & Beyonding us, rising from the dead and running for mayor. Okay, so Professor Wikipedia was not a help at all. That's what we get for trusting a professor of Spock studies. Let's just check around the internet. Let's see, New York Times. All right, August 24th, 2021. Ooh, FDA fully approves Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, a first for COVID-19 shot. That's definitely good news. I bet things after this, I bet they went off splendidly for everyone. No one could have objected to a vaccine for a disease that killed millions, right? All right, next story, feeling good. Tiffany Haddish would like to share some facts about shark sex. Sure. Tiffany, whenever you're available, you can share those. You can share those on this podcast if you'd like. 2 for 2. Thank you, New York Times. Now let's flip to the biggest movies. The top 3 movies on this day in 2021 were Free Guy, Paw Patrol the movie, and Jungle Cruise. Before you say anything about Paw Patrol, I'll have you know that it got 82% in Rotten Tomatoes. 82%. For a movie where Kim Kardashian, Dax Shepard, and Tyler Perry do animal voices in a thinly veiled propaganda piece for the police state. You know what? It must have gotten that Jimmy Kimmel boost. He played the part of Marty Muckrucker, Adventure City's finest investigative journalist. Okay, we could talk about Marty Muckrucker all day, but this isn't a movie podcast. This isn't Blank Check or Cinephobe. This isn't even one of those Paw Patrol podcasts. I'm sure they exist. Let's get back to business. Let's get back to Judy. Our first case is Pack of Pit Bulls Kill Terrier. Now, even before we jump into it, I'm leaning against Judy on this one, and it's kind of for superficial reasons, but how did she possibly let this title pass by without overruling it? Sure, it's accurate, but it's not funny. And probably even more importantly, it might not be true. Look, we're going to jump into this, but a terrier is definitely brutally murdered in front of its owner. But we don't know if a pit bull did it. If I had my way, if I had a time machine whose sole reason for existence was renaming episodes of Judge Judy, and God willing, one day I will, I would have called this episode, Why Did the Dog Cross the Road? Sadly, that time machine doesn't exist yet, and so I'll have to settle for naming this podcast episode, Why Did This Dog Cross the Road instead? Okay, on to the trial. Okay, let's see. This is a 25th anniversary Judge Judy episode. 25 years. That means if this episode were a child, it would be almost ready to lose its parents' health insurance. Better hit that deductible quick. Episode 163. Kicking things off right off the bat, we got the cold open. So, we're just running in. This is kind of the episode preview. It's coming in hot, even though it's cold. Judy's telling us that we got huge animals, huge, out of control, 5 or 6 of them. But I feel like I might have misheard the plaintiff because it sounds like he said there were 5 or 6 people. Did 5 or 6 people kill his dogs? I guess we'll find out. From the defendant, again, still just the cold open, still just the teaser here. She says that they couldn't have been her dogs that killed the plaintiff's dog because they didn't have any blood on them. She doesn't say anything about if she also owns people and if those people had blood on them and if those people possibly could have killed the defendant's dog, but maybe we'll learn more about that. Also, we learn, again, all still in the cold open, that this guy, the plaintiff here, not only did his dog die, but he had the displeasure of carrying his dead dog in his arms. That's pretty terrible, but it would have been even worse if he had to carry his dog in his mouth, right? By the way, is it too late for this episode to have a trigger warning? If not, trigger warning, trigger warning. Okay, the cold open is thawed, and we're introduced to our plaintiff, Milton Vasquez. Milton. Name another Milton, one who didn't invent Monopoly. I dare you. Or was that the Parker brothers? Anyway, Milton's suing his neighbor, Sandi Toms, for the loss of his terrier after it and 3 other dogs were attacked by 5 dogs owned by Sandi. Still no word of the people that Milton mentioned in that cold open. Really kind of want to get some clarity on that, some closure. Also, how do you sue for a terrier? Milton's suing for a terrier. Does she have to get him another terrier? All right, big red flag right off the bat.
On the 29th of December of this year.
There's no way that this guy's dog was killed. These 2 went through small claims court and made their way to Judge Judy in 2 days. 2 days, and one of those days is New Year's Eve. There's no way in hell Judy's skipping getting wasted on peppermint schnapps in Palm Springs on New Year's Eve so that she can hear about Milton's dead terrier, R.I.P. Something's fishy here. Next up, for some inexplicable reason, Judge Judy goes through the breeds of Milton's dogs.
One was a Yorkie,
yes,
small dog. One was a Norfolk Terrier, small dog. One was a Jack Russell.
It's like a canine version of Mambo number 5. Suffice to say, Milton's got a bunch of small dogs, and let's see, he's walking his little army of tiny dogs, like
It was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
yes, ma'am.
Wait, around 5 p.m. on December 29th. December, like the dead of winter December. Look, I admit it, I might be getting hung up on this whole December 29th things, but that means it was dark. If we can trust Google, and so help us God, we can't really trust Google, sunset was around 4:49 on December 29th in California. So Milton and his tiny harem of dogs is walking around in the dark, like low visibility. Keep that in mind.
6 pit bulls.
Pit bulls. That's my mistake. It wasn't 6 people. Milton said 6 pit bulls. We can forget about the roving band of 5 or 6 people. So Milton says 6 pit bulls came running out of a garage, crossed the street, and red-shelled his dogs with the Norfolk Terrier dying. Now, I feel bad about making that Mario Kart reference, especially because it feels more like the Norfolk Terrier, specifically the Norfolk Terrier, got bullet billed instead of just red-shelled. The other dogs got red-shelled, and then a bullet bill came up for the Terrier. All right, enter the defendant, Sandi, who lived at the house from whence the wild pack of family dogs ran through the yard one day.
I didn't say much of anything at all.
I didn't say much of anything at all. didn't say much of anything at all. Anyway, Sandi's got some roommates, and it's Schrodinger's dog as to whether or not they also have dogs.
How many other people live there?
4.
Do those people who live there have any dogs?
No.
Yes.
Just don't say anything.
Anything at all.
We never get any closure on this, by the way, even though you'd think it's kind of important. In a case about whether or not this lady is responsible for the guy's dog getting killed, I'd kind of like a definitive answer to the question of whether or not her roommates also have dogs.
So the dogs, which were the subject of a hearing by animal control, were identified as your dogs by the name of Guppy, Moses, Blue, Pepperoni, and Mowgli.
Guppy, Moses, Blue, Pepperoni, and Mowgli. Guppy, Moses, Blue, Pepperoni, and Mowgli. How the hell did Moses get in there? Moses? The guy who talked to flaming bushes. You honor his legacy by naming your dog after him. I respect that. Okay, but now this is important.
They're your dogs.
They're my dogs. However, they're not the description of the dogs that he is describing.
Just answer my question.
All we've established is that Sandi's got 5 dogs, including one named after a type of fish, one named after a type of cured pork, and one named after Moses. And that they've been determined to be dangerous. Fine, comets are dangerous too, but we can't hold Sandi responsible the next time a comet crosses the road and kills one of Milton's dogs, can we? Can we, Judy?
I actually don't care.
Because apparently...
Well, that's not my problem. That's your problem.
Moving on, the crux of Sandi's argument is that Milton pegged a spotted dog as the perpetrator, or the poopatrator if you will, but that she doesn't have spotted dogs. Judy, isn't there some basic way that we can confirm this? Isn't there some kind of evidence that would say, yes, I do or do not have a spotted dog?
You have big dogs.
But they aren't spotted, Judy. In fact, Judy says as much herself.
It's possible that somebody else's dog got in the mix and ultimately caused the demise of the plaintiff's dog. That doesn't diminish the fact that your dogs were out of your control. They're huge animals. Potentially, they can be dangerous. And you put them in a position of being able to cross the street.
So let me get this right. If your dogs, of their own volition, get it in their heads that they want to, I don't know, wear dark nail polish and start hanging out with the troublemakers, the dogs that listen to Twisted Sister and talk back and skateboard without wearing a helmet. And then one of those troublemaker dogs goes and kills a nerdy Norfolk Terrier, presumably for its milk money. You're responsible? Doggone it, Judy. Sandi gets caught in a Judge Judy, a classic blame trap here, by saying that her dogs were leashed and that they were about to go on a walk when they escaped through an open door.
They went out through a door that's never propped open. It's never ever propped open, and it happened to be propped open. And that's when they went out. The dog that he described...
It's somebody else's fault.
That's it. If Sandi had any chance of winning, it's gone.
It is.
It's the door's fault. You want him to sue? You want him to sue the door?
Blame an inanimate object in front of Judy and you were done for. Milton, at this point, could admit that he never had a dog. He could poop in his hands and throw it at the judge. Blame a door and you're done for.
You want him to sue the door?
It doesn't matter that Sandi says that one of Milton's witnesses, Milton Bradley's witnesses, Milton the plaintiff's witnesses, stated that they saw someone drive up and pick up 2 dogs after the attack. I would think that this is pretty important. But then I remember that Sandi blamed a door. And there's nothing Judy wants to hear less than a door being blamed for a dog's death. Nothing.
Okay.
Sandi doesn't do herself any favors by making what feels like another perfectly valid point. Her dogs didn't have any blood on them. And there wasn't any blood on the sidewalk.
My dogs had nothing on them.
So now what you're suggesting is that his dog wasn't killed.
Milton gives Sandi an absolutely priceless look here. And I'm admitting something. I'm a terrible judge of faces, notoriously terrible. I don't know the difference between happy and scared and angry. But with all that said, I am still positive that in this moment, Milton's thinking, Sandi, that Judge Judy, she's batshit crazy.
Well, that's not my problem. That's your problem.
Judy then commits what I consider a serious faux pas. In an effort to prove that her dogs are not vicious, that they're not bloodthirsty, and that they can get enough of that cookie crisp, Sandi offers to show the judge pictures of her dogs, and one of them even has hip dysplasia, as if to say, this dog can barely walk, how can it maul? You've got to walk before you maul. You've all heard that before. But Judy refuses. Judy does not want to see pictures of Sandi's dogs, which is puzzling to me. Someone offers to show you pictures of their dogs, you look. You look every time. You don't have to be in a courtroom, you don't have to be a judge, you just have to be human. Maybe Judge Judy is qualified as a judge. Maybe she is smart. I don't want to call any of that into question, but not looking at dog pictures, that makes her heartless. Qualified but heartless. For better or for worse, Milton's Norfolk Terrier died instantly. And all joking aside, no one wants to carry their dead dog home after it's been murdered by a phantom spotted dog. I feel for Milton, I do. I just think Sandi's getting all the blame for something her dogs may or may not have done. They might be pit bulls, they might be German shepherds. But what Sandi's really got here are a bunch of scape dogs. Sandi draws more of her honor's ire by trying to call into question Milton's recounting of the events, but Judy's having none of it. I can't help but think that Judy's hiding something. I don't know, are we sure she wasn't in Riverside on December 29th, killing Norfolk Terriers? Oh, no, that's right. December 29th, peppermint schnapps, Palm Springs, that's right. The verdict is coming up after the break, plus case number 2, which, based on this little teaser, apparently involves crazy talk and cussing on Facebook. That is a tease. Back from the break, and we find out that Milton is suing for the cost of a Norfolk Terrier. So this isn't about vet bills. And look, Milton doesn't say he's going to go immediately and buy another dog, but this is about getting another $3,500, right, for the value of the dog. Whereas Sandi, she's got a bunch of shoddy, hip-having pit bulls, and they almost definitely came from a shelter. Milton's thinking about the value of a dog, and I can't help but think that he's going to go to a breeder and get another purebred. Judy, don't do it. Don't give this man money so he can go buy another dog like it's the last, Magikarp card he needs to complete his little Pokemon set. Don't Magikarp us, Judy. Don't do it. But who am I kidding? Judy's not even ruling in favor of Milton. She's ruling against Sandi and her door-blaming ways. Yep, there it is, $3,500 for Milton, so you can go buy another Machoke or Rapidash or that one Pokemon that looks like Chris Pratt. In their parting words, after the judgment, we hear Milton, the guy who needs $3,500 to buy another dog when there are plenty of good dogs in shelters and rescues. He claims that this judgment will make the community safer. Safer? Safer? You're going to need a lot more than $3,500 and a Charmander to make Riverside safer. All right, next case, it's Davis versus Davis, and maybe this is because it's a 25th anniversary episode, but we've apparently gone back in time. Instead of an empty courtroom like we had for the first one, we've got a big audience, and everyone, Judy and the bailiff, they're all looking a little younger. If I'm to believe what I have read on the internet, this case is from 2014. I won't do the whole Wikipedia thing again. Just know that when it comes to the world of Davis v. Davis in 2014, the last Fast and the Furious movie that anyone had seen was Fast and the Furious 6. You might remember that one is the one where Vin Diesel's Dom Toretto character, he spends most of the movie playing Bejeweled.
That's the deal. Take it or leave it.
All right, kicking it off. Whoa, Bailiff Bird has a gigantic ring on. I don't want this to become a visual thing where you've got to, listen to the podcast and then go on Instagram or YouTube, but this thing is enormous. It's turquoise. I think it's turquoise and with gold around it. It's about the size of one of Flavor Flav's clocks, except it's on Bailiff Bird's ring finger. It's like looking into the eye of Sauron, if the eye of Sauron were in Santa Fe, New Mexico instead of Mordor.
It must be taken deep into Mordor and cast back into the fiery chasm from whence it came.
All right, enough distractions. Our plaintiff for the second case, Gary Davis, is suing his daughter Tanisha Davis, no relation, just kidding. He's suing for the cost of appliances and 3 cell phones.
Hello, Moto.
Not to be upstaged by dear old dad, Tanisha is countersuing Gary, no relation, for harassment. The basic situation, as alleged by Gary, who's looking remarkably hangdog, is that Tanisha asked him to apply for a credit card to purchase appliances for her after she moved into a new place. For some reason, Judge Judy asked which store specifically, leading to a name drop that Best Buy surely couldn't have been happy about. Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities, get yours, and while you're at it, get your dad to pay for it with a new store credit card. Gary says that he obliged Tanisha, agreeing to buy these appliances and a handful of cell phones for his daughter, so long as she paid him back. I assume, since it's 2014, that she needed multiple cell phones to get extra turns in Farmville. This all seems fairly straightforward. I'm sure that as soon as Tanisha could, she paid the bill, right? Right?
We had a discussion with her, and she said what?
The last discussion I had with her, she said she was going to pay it.
Say no more, Gary. Say no more.
Sir, did you call her again?
No. We started talking on Facebook, and she started talking like she had just met me on the street somewhere, and I just deleted her off my Facebook.
What do you mean it was like she met you on the street?
She started talking crazy, cussing at me on the computer.
On Facebook?
Yes.
Like what?
It was disrespectful things, like I wasn't her father.
Oh, and this all started over what? A NutriBullet? A Nokia Lumia 1520? After being disrespected, Gary says he cut off communications with Tanisha, except that...
And then this morning when I woke up, she had posted a picture up on my page, and I deleted that.
Picture of what?
Of her face.
I'm no big city lawyer, but posting a picture of your face on the plaintiff's Facebook the morning you're going up against them on Judge Judy, I don't know if that's disrespectful as cussing, but it's cold-blooded. Tanisha's side of the story is a little more sordid, according to her. Gary agreed to make the purchase to make up for his previously lackluster parenting. Alternate title for this case, Deadbeat Dad Done Dirty by a Double-Dipping Daughter. Judge Judy walks Gary through an uncomfortable deep dive into his finances. Long story short, he's on disability, most of his money goes towards rent, and he lives alone. I'm getting the vibe from Judge Judy that she doesn't think that Gary should have been paying for his daughter's BlackBerry passport or her Hamilton Beach double Belgian waffle maker. Now, Tanisha's working at Walmart. She's got 2 kids, but she's looking to better herself through higher education. There couldn't be anything wrong with that. To seek betterment, just to become a better person. I mean, even if you're, 34 like Tanisha, right? There couldn't be anything wrong with that.
It's time to not be a full-time student.
To be fair, something is a little fishy about Tanisha's school.
So you pay the tuition yourself
Yes.
out of the $500 or $600 that you get from Walmart?
Yes.
What's the tuition?
Right now it's $60 monthly.
I mean, it was 2014, so she didn't use Klarna or Afterpay. Maybe she had her school on layaway.
No tuition in the world is $60 a month for a full-time student. Nobody in the world pays that.
Tanisha may be going to the Hollywood Upstairs Medical College.
Hi, everybody!
But I can't fault her logic here.
Am I not supposed to take him when he didn't pay anything for me when I was growing up? No child support, no nothing.
You're 34 years old.
I know I am 34,
up.
but if he offers
Grow
it,
up.
then am I not supposed to take it?
In one fell swoop, Tanisha shares her feelings about her father and dooms any chance she might have had at getting Judge Judy on her side.
And you don't care.
No.
He doesn't care about you either.
Well, Judy, I just don't know if that's true. He did buy her that Sony Xperia Z3 from Best Buy. Best Buy, broken homes, broken dreams, and an expert installation all under one roof. Judy's stance here is pretty simple. Gary didn't support Tanisha when she was a kid. Why should he support her now? Especially when he's on disability. I mean, how can he pay for his rent and
who has an income of $877
And that
a
can
month.
afford his liquor?
I'm talking.
Alcoholic?
I'm talking.
You know, that might explain Gary's hangdog look. I'd still like some clarity on Bailiff Bird's big ring, though. Anyway, Judy very summarily rules in Gary's favor, proving more than anything else that $2,000 might make up for what Tanisha owes him, but it won't be enough to make him whole.
Grow up.
Lest you think that the credits mean this particular episode of Judge Judy is over.
He has a problem with his liquor. He can't remember anything. He'll give you something, and as soon as he's broke and he don't have money for his liquor,
We talk all the time, but she just don't know what she's talking about.
then there's a problem. He's going after everybody. He sues everybody. This is not his first case.
All right, to summarize, Judge Judy ruled in favor of both of the plaintiffs, Milton for the loss of his dog and Gary for the loss of his dignity. The money he spent on his daughter's appliances and phones, $3,500 for Milton and just a hair over $2,000 for Gary. Now for the most important part of the show, my verdict. It's my turn to determine guilt or innocence. It's my turn to judge Judy. I'm going to use a broad set of criteria here, but what I'm basically looking at is this. Was justice served? For the plaintiff? For the defendant? For us? For the listening public? As a judge, was Judy innocent? Did she do her job? Or was she guilty? Which means her behavior or her rulings or her whatever represented a miscarriage of justice. When it comes to today's episode, I gotta say Judy's guilty. Sure, Milton's dog died, but we don't know that Sandi's dogs did it. There was no blood on Pepperoni, there was no blood on Moses. But Judy was like a dog with a bone, a ferocious dog. She couldn't countenance that another dog might have been responsible, like the 2 that a mysterious car drove up and spirited away. It wasn't just that I disagree with Judy's decision. I also disagree with her thinking that losing control of your dogs is tantamount to letting your dogs murder another dog. That's a wild leap of faith. For her treatment of Sandi and for siding with Milton, who probably went out and spent the money on another purebred dog, Judge Judy today is guilty. Oh, and as for Tanisha and Gary, yeah, I think she actually got that one right, but she's still guilty. You know what that sound means. What do you mean this is the first episode and you couldn't possibly know what that sound means? How about you use your imagination? But fine, whatever. It's time for Hangman. When you hear that sound, it means it's Hangman time. Now in the future, I hope to have guests, and we can play this together. But for now, I'll be playing alone using hangmanwords.com. But lest you think this is the kind of hangman you played as a child, perhaps in 8th grade, perhaps in Mr. West's pre-algebra class, perhaps when you should have been learning algebra. But if you thought those things, you're wrong, quadratically wrong, because unlike the game you used to play in the margins, there are stakes this time. That little stick figure, in each game of Hangman that we play on Judging Judy, that stick figure represents a real live person of some notoriety. And to prevent any kind of funky business, any kind of sabotage, that person has to be someone that me or the guest would prefer not to see hanged. So if we figure out the puzzle, the person survives. But if we fail, that person dies. Not literally, metaphorically, symbolically, spiritually, but not literally. All right, up on the gallows this week is Stephen Colbert. Whew. If getting short-shifted by the con men at Paramount weren't enough, now his life is on the line, metaphorically speaking. Oh boy, I better get this right. So I've got 6 chances, and I'm using the SAT words word list. Let's see how I manage. Let me just navigate here. Okay, so 6 chances. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 letters. You might be thinking this is a terrible idea for a podcast, terrible idea when we don't have a visual medium. We're going to persevere, though. We're going to persevere, and we are going to save Stephen Colbert. I'm going to go with a common letter, one of the big ones. The first letter in Rice-A-Roni, R. All right, it is the 5th letter, so we got 4 blanks, R, and then a bunch of more blanks. Okay, let's make it 2 for 2. I'm going to guess O. All right. O is not just the letter I guessed, but the shape of our hangman's head here. So now I have 5 guesses left. We have a head. We know there's an R and there's not an O. What about T? Ooh, we got a body. In this case, Stephen Colbert's body. Imagine it navy suit, red tie, white shirt underneath. Maybe like a sky blue tie. All right, let's try another one. Let's try I. Oh, 2 I's. Blank, 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 R, blank, I, blank, blank. That didn't really help me at all, but at least I didn't add any legs to our poor hangman here. What about B? Oh, we got a leg. We got a left leg. Left leg and no B. So we got a right arm, right leg, still to spare. Let's go E. It must be an E. So many letters left, there must be an E. Blank, 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 ER, like George Clooney. Blank I, blank I, blank, blank. Okay. Making some moves here, Let's guess D. Let's see if there's a D in here. Nope. Left leg, right leg, body, head, 2 guesses left, and no D. What about H? Nope, right arm. So they are offering me a clue, a hint. I'm not going to take it because I'm a man of valor, a man of honor. I only have vowels, besides the R, which is not a vowel, as it turns out. But let's see how I manage. Let's see what it looks like. The G. No, I was wrong, and I killed him. I'm a murderer. This little hangman, this little Stephen Colbert, his metaphorical blood is on my hands. The word was superficial. I'm so sorry to his family, to his friends, to his enemies who only define themselves via their relationship to him. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode of Judging Judy. I hope you had a good time. I only have one last segment, and that is an out-of-context quote from Judge Judy. We have thousands of lads in state institutions, and most of them come from homes on public assistance. In too many states, the welfare keeps flowing while the kids are in jail. This is dumber than dumb. Thanks again. Like, subscribe, share, fornicate, and listen to my other podcast, Sincerely Sydney, which is about a time-traveling failed newspaper advice columnist. Bye.
All right.